Hello, everyone, and a warm welcome to this webinar on the Master Program in Electrical Power Engineering. My name is Alexandra Leighton, and I will be your moderator. Associate Professor and Program Director Mikael Amelin will guide you through this webinar together with Student Ambassador Dhruvi Shukla. Please don't forget to ask questions in our Q&A, which will be answered by our master's coordinators who are working behind the scenes right now. So yes, let's start. Mikael, you're muted. Yes.
Thank you very much. This webinar, we are going to present the master program in electric power engineering. And we who are presenting are me and Dhruvi Shukla, who is a student ambassador. So I have been at Kth for a long time. I did my Master of Science here, and I have also done my PhD here. And currently I'm Associate Professor in the Division of Electric Power and Energy Systems, where I'm working with different courses and research related to power system planning, and in particular balancing of continuously varying generation. And Dhruvi, you can present yourself.
Hello everyone, greetings of the day. So I am Dhruvi Shukla and I come from India. I am the master coordinator for the electric power engineering program, and I am studying in second year masters. My interests are power systems and high voltage engineering. Thank you.
All right, so let's just start with a few words about Kth, the university. It's the largest and oldest technical university in Sweden. So we have around 13,500 students and 5,000 employees. And the university is organized as 5 schools. And this program belongs to the School of Electrical Engineering and Computer Science. And the program is hosted by the Department of Electrical Engineering, where my division belongs to, and where most of the teachers who are teaching in the program are also working there. And I would say that Kth is a very strong university when it comes to electrical engineering. If we look on the QS ranking for 2021, you see that Kth as a university, we were ranked number 98 in the world, whereas if we look on the subject electrical and electronic engineering, we are ranked as number 18 in the world. And the education in electrical engineering has been, and just as a trivia, the first PhD degree that was awarded at Kth was to Ivar Herlitz, who was working in electric power engineering. His thesis was called The Dynamic Stability of Long Transmission Lines. And all the teachers in the program are both teachers and researchers. So we don't have anyone who is dedicated only as a teacher or only as a researcher. All staff members do both. And well, if you look here, this is the Kth Central Campus, and this building here in the red box, that's where most of the Department of Electrical Engineering is located. We also have some colleagues who are working with electronics who are sitting outside of Stockholm. And if we look on electric power engineering, I guess that since you're here and listening to this webinar, you already have an idea what electric power engineering is about. But at Kth, electric power engineering covers the entire chain from the generators to the end consumers. So what we are working with are both components that you can find in the power system or in appliances. We have power electronics and electrical machines, and then we also have electrotechnical design, so the design of high voltage equipment. And then we also are working with systems, so power system control and communication, how you make sure that the system is operating as it should, and planning an electricity market, which is also about operating the system, but maybe more about operating in it in an efficient way, utilizing the right resources. And the scientific background, this is what I personally find so fascinating with electric power engineering, that it's really, really about applied engineering. We have real world problems that we are solving, and in order to solve these problems, we are using theory from very many scientific disciplines. You have examples given here. Is there anything that should be added here? Dhruvi, do we use other methods than what is included here?
I think in all the subjects, all these methods are more or less covered, like microeconomics or control theory or numerical methods and programming. So I think most of them are covered in this.
Yeah, takes in our courses, or what do you say?
Yeah, I think the major portion which connects with the technicality of the subjects is the programming and mathematical methods of doing the analysis. So those things are very much used in for solving any problem in irrespective of what subject it is. So like MATLAB or Python programming is very well used here.
But what's so nice is that regardless of what your favorite topic is, you are likely to be able to find some application of that in electric power engineering.
Yes.
And these are just some examples of what kind of work can you get after graduating in electric power engineering. All these examples are from Sweden. You are from all around the world, so I simply took the local examples here. But there are traditional electrical engineering companies which are manufacturing equipment for power systems and different electric applications. The industry, not the least the transport industry. I have here Scania and Volvo transport industries. They are, since they are electrifying transports or planning to electrify transports, they will need electric power engineers. There's a lot of new companies that are developing smart solutions for power systems. And of course, we have traditional power companies, producers, distributors, retailers in different forms. And then there are transmission system operators, and also authorities that needs experts when they are regulating the power system and the electricity market. And there are plenty of work opportunities also with consulting companies that are providing different investigations or providing tools to analyze problems in electric power engineering. And of course, universities also need master students in electric power engineering to recruit PhD students. So that is also an opportunity that might open up if you have a master degree. Have you thought anything, Dhruvi, about your future? You don't have that much long left at KTH. What kind of work are you interested in?
Actually, before coming for doing masters here, I had a few years of industrial experience. So I have known how the industry works. Secondly, after doing studies at KTH for 1.5 years, I could see that how the research thing also works because of doing a lot of projects here at KTH. So from that, I could I could see like what is my interest, and I understood that maybe I'm more interested towards industrial sector. So I would try to prefer going for industry and doing some jobs related to product management, or which is related to techno commercial, which includes technicality as well as management. So right now that is in my mind, of course, but research is also a good sector. So maybe I will see at the end of my master's, after doing my thesis, what comes up, and I will choose according to that.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, there are many opportunities, as you can see. Just one more word about the research that we are doing in electric power engineering. What's currently a topic for research is sustainable development. Almost everything that we are doing, and that is both in university research, but also a lot of the research and development that is related to sustainable development. I picked these 3 UN Sustainable Development Goals here that are most relevant to the program. But to speak in practical terms, what we are doing is that we are working on how to integrate renewable power sources in the power system. How should we build the power system in the future to be able to handle a lot of varying power generation like solar or wind? And we are also working about energy efficiency, that those resources that we have, we should use them as efficiently as possible. We should have the highest possible efficiency in electric motors and in control systems, etc. And the research that we do at KTH, it's very applied research, and we have a lot of industry cooperation. So most of the research that we are doing is being funded by the industry. They have an area where they see that this is going to be a problem for us in the future. We need to have ideas about how to solve this, and then they can fund a PhD project to study that question. And this is just an overview of doctoral dissertations from the last year. You can see that they span over a very wide range of different topics. So let's move over to the educational structure. The educational structure at KTH is, well, it's mostly the same as in the entire Europe, that we have bachelor degree programs, which are 3 years long, and then you can go on with a master degree, which is 2 years. In Sweden, these bachelor degree programs are taught in Swedish, and then we switch to English for master degree. And if you should continue with a doctoral degree program, then that will also be in English. I can just mention that there is also, for Swedish students, there are engineering programs which are 5 years long and which give a diploma degree. And they are essentially, they are a bachelor plus a master, but in linking topics. So the bachelor and master need to be in the same topic. Then you can, that is equivalent to Swedish engineering program. So when you apply to the master degree program directly, you will also meet Swedish students that are coming through a Swedish engineering program and doing their master. So we have a nice mix of students. And well, this is just a very simple overview of how the master program is organized. We start with, well, it's 4 semesters. We have an autumn semester and a spring semester. And in the first year, you do power engineering courses. You start with basic courses, and then you go into advanced courses. And in the second year, in the autumn semester, you can continue with advanced power engineering courses. There's also a project course, which I'm going to mention in a while. And you also have a selection of completely free courses. And the last thing that you do in your master program is your master thesis. Dhruvi, is there anything to add to about the overall education structure?
I think the educational structure in masters, what is given and what KTH has prepared for electric power engineering is really good and interesting based on the bifurcation of the subjects, what they have done. First year they have completely concentrated on electrical courses, and then second year is good for choosing what you want or what you're interested in after studying this many technical subjects. So I think this is a very good structure and I'm very happy with that.
That's nice to hear. And you have also possibility to rearrange. I mean, this is an outline, but you can move around a little bit the plan here. And that is because we have a very free program. So there are no tracks and you choose your own specialization. But you have, of course, some constraints that you need to take into account. And that is that we have a block first of basic electric power engineering courses where you need to have at least 24 credits. That's 4 courses. Then we have advanced electric power engineering courses where you need to have at least 22.5 credits. And of course, which advanced electric power engineering courses that you can take, well, that depends on which basic electric power engineering courses that you have taken. And then, as I mentioned, you also have some credits. It's actually 27 credits, which are completely free, where you can take any course at KTH. The only requirement is that it may not overlap with any course that you have already taken. We have a few mandatory courses. I will show you them in a moment. And then you have a master thesis at the end of the program. And if you want more information about the courses that we offer in the program, then you can go to the course and program directory at KTH and find the details about which courses that are included in the program. But we can give you a short overview here. The mandatory courses, we have the first one here, the Sustainable Electric Power Engineer. That is a program integrating course. So it covers, it's sort of meant to be an overview of a topic and also to address questions that might not be specifically targeted in the electric power engineering courses, but which are skills that you need as an electric power engineer. What do you say, Dhruvi? How would you describe this course?
I think this course is very well useful for every electric power engineer, considering the sustainability. What we see is a need of an hour. And apart from that, this course has helped every one of us to decide what we want to do at every stage of our studies, because of it has been distributed in every period, or I can say every trimester. So I think this course is actually, it's good that it is mandatory and it's very useful for every electric power engineer.
Yeah, good point. I should say that this is a course that is running throughout the program, and you will meet teachers in the program 4 times per academic year, so 8 times in total during your master studies. Next, we have Theory and Methodology of Science, which is a mandatory topic for all master students in Sweden. So you should be acquainted with the thinking, the philosophy behind science. And you can take this course anytime. It's scheduled to be in the first year, but it's offered regularly. So you can join it some other time if you prefer that. The Electric Power Engineering Project, that is a larger project course that is running in the second year in the autumn semester, where students work in groups. How large are the groups, Dhruvi?
The groups are of 3 to 5 students.
3 to 5 students, yeah. So 3 to 5 students who cooperate on solving a power engineering problem. And this course also includes an introduction to project management. And then we have the degree project course. So this last mandatory course that's simply the master thesis. And if we look on the basic electric power engineering courses, we have 6 basic electric power engineering courses, and you need to choose at least 4 out of these. So we have power system analysis, we have electricity pricing and emissions, communication and control in electric power systems, power grid technology and substation design, electrical machines and drives, and power electronics. So already when you start the program, you have a choice here, but you can specialize in whatever is your main interest, or if you want to, you can take all 6 courses as well. And then we have the advanced electric power engineering courses, and here you need to have at least 22.5 credits, and that roughly corresponds to 3 courses, because most of the courses are 7.5 credits. There are shorter as well, and well, it's at least, so you can study more than that. I think a lot of students actually do a lot more advanced electric power engineering courses than 22.5. Do you agree, Dhruvi?
Yes, I do agree, because I myself took the 30 credits of the advanced courses because they are actually very interesting, and because we have to take 4 basic subjects as our mandatory courses. So during that time, we get the idea of what kind of subjects we are interested in, and then when we make a track of the domain what we want to see our future in, during that time there are many interesting subjects which are available and offered at KTH. So anyways, I have seen this myself as well, and like among my friends, that mostly people take more credits than 22.5 credits.
Yeah, the challenge is not how to find 3 interesting courses. The question is, how do you limit your your choice of courses? So what these courses are doing, they are expanding and deepening the basic electric power engineering courses. And we have, I mean, I haven't counted them recently, but it's more than 20 courses that you can choose between. So if you want to see the complete list, you need to go to the program syllabus. But of course, there are some trodden paths. You can see what other students have found mixed good courses to combine, or what teachers have suggested. I don't know, do students follow these trodden paths, or is it more popular to find your own path? How did you do, Dhruvi?
Personally, like when I had to choose the path, I was quite not sure like what kind of path I am interested in it. After doing my basic courses, I got more clear, and also I talked to my professors to get some idea about how the advanced courses are and how that would be helpful for me in future. So after that, I was able to choose the path. So I have chosen the path which is not the pure paths which are described here as the trodden paths, but it is 2 different paths like power systems and high voltage. And I have seen many students who have taken 2 paths as a domain, considering that they have one as a backup, one path as a backup. So, but yeah, there are many students who have only single path as their domain, or some students just prefer not to make any domain and do things in almost all the subjects by taking many advanced courses in like keeping variety of subjects.
So picking their favorite courses without looking at some specific area.
Yes, and I think this is actually the specialty of this course, keeping the freedom of choosing courses.
Yeah, and that's we have designed the program in this way because it's a very wide field. As I said in the beginning, it covers so many different specializations, and we want you to allow you to choose whatever you find the most interesting here. All right, so let's move on to application then. For information about applications, the best place to go is the external program web page. So if you go to KTH, you search for master studies, and then you will find a list of all the master programs, and you just choose electric power engineering, and then you will end up on this web page here. And from this web page, you can find a lot of information. Under admissions here, you have how to apply, the entry requirements, about fees and scholarships, etc. So very useful web page. And let's start then with the entry requirements. So go to admissions, check entry requirements. There you get the full details about what you need in order to be eligible for the program. But in short, you need to have a bachelor degree, at least 180 ECTS credits. It should include electrical engineering corresponding to 60 credits. And it must include a three-phase electrical circuits or machines, some electromagnetic theory, and some introduction to electric power systems. And then you should also have 30 credits of mathematics, and that must include calculus, algebra, numerical methods, probability theory, and control theory. And you need also to show that you have your English proficiency. And about fees, if you're not a European Union citizen or a Swiss citizen, then you are generally required to pay both an application and tuition fees. And the application fee is 900 crowns. That's approximately 100 USD. You have a tuition fee that is for the entire program for both 2 years, 310,000 Swedish crowns, which corresponds roughly to 35,000 US dollars. And there is possibilities to apply for scholarships. So if you want to investigate these possibilities, then look here under admission, you find the heading scholarships, and you will come to this web page where you have information about which scholarships that are available and how to proceed to apply for them. And the procedure for the application, you need to submit your application and apply for Kth scholarships by the 17th of January. And then you must also make sure that all your documents are uploaded, but you have a little bit longer for that until 1st of February. And you must also pay your application fee by 1st of February. If you're going to apply for a scholarship from the Swedish Institute, then you have a little bit longer time. They have deadlines in February. And then you just wait and see, and you check the result of the selection. They will be available on the 7th of April. And if you're accepted for the program, then it starts at the end of August. That's when you need to be in Stockholm. Is there something I should add to this procedure, Dhruvi? Is it something that you remember? You have been through this entire procedure.
I think only one thing, all the technicalities is mentioned, but I think though the deadlines are given, if so, like students should apply it way before than deadlines so that nothing is missed, because a lot of things we need to fill for application. We need to write a lot of motivation letters and many things. So we need recommendation letters. So it's good to start way earlier than the deadline which is given. That is my recommendation.
Yeah, very good advice. Don't wait till the last minute, because I mean, if you have trouble, technical problems, or documents that are missing, you don't want you do want to have some time to solve that before the deadline of the application. And which documents do you need then when you're applying? Well, again, if you go to the application webpage, you will find detailed instructions, but here's a summary. You need to have a certificate or diploma from your completed degree, bachelor degree, or whatever other degree you might have. We need a transcript where we can see which courses that you have completed and which grades that you have got for all the courses. You need to include your proof of English proficiency. You need to have some identification. I think it's usually a copy of a passport. You need to write, and what you want to include in your CV is, of course, well, you can mention again where your degree is from. But you can also mention work experience, if you have any publications, etc. Anything that you think is relevant for us to know if you're a good candidate for this master program. You should write a letter of motivation where you explain why you would like to take this master program. What you should think about in your motivation letter is, of course, that it's good if you can show that you're actually interested in the Kth master program in electric power engineering. It's good to have letters of recommendation, include them. And then we have the last point here, which is summary sheet. This is an online form that you fill out. The link is, you can find it on this web page that I am been referring to, and it looks like this when you enter the form. And here you should fill out a summary of your application. And it's really important that you fill out this summary sheet because it helps when we are reviewing your application. And if you have missed to fill out the summary correctly, well, that will have an impact on your application because you don't want to give us the idea that you can't follow the instructions of a form when we are thinking if you could be a good student at Kth. So please make sure that you fill out the summary sheet correctly. What do you say, Dhruvi? Again, you have been through this process. Are there anything that is complicated with uploading the documents, and is there something that one should think about?
I think the most important part from all this document is the letter of motivation, because that is what every student needs to reflect on how the student is and what they have done till now before applying for masters. And so it is always good to take time and write the letter of motivation in such a way that you don't miss out any important information, what you should give to KTH, ensuring them that you are a good candidate as a master students. So yeah, I think otherwise all the documents are good enough.
And how was it working with these websites where you upload the documents? Were they easy to use, or is there something that one should think about?
I think the website is very techno-friendly, and it is very easy to use for any student. Only the thing is what students needs to, or the applicants need to think about is there are many documents which you need to upload. So we should make sure that nothing is missed out during this whole process, because the uploadation of every document is done on different links which are given there. So otherwise it is very techno-friendly and user-friendly, I can say.
Yeah, so it's quite easy to use, but make sure that you actually upload everything that should be uploaded. And this is another reason why you should not wait until the last minute, so that you don't have problems with this uploading. All right, so the final thing about application then, the selection criteria. There are 3 things that we are looking for when we are evaluating applications. One is from which university you have your bachelor degree. So we are going to look on the ranking of that university according either to the Times Higher Education or the QS ranking. We are looking on your grades, both your grades in general, but also on specific subjects, these courses that we have highlighted that are important as background when you start the master program, so that you know a little bit about free phase, you should know your mathematics, etc. And of course, also your English proficiency is important. And then we are also looking at your motivation for studies. So what you write in your letter of motivation. We are looking at your letters of recommendation, if you have work experience, and if you have earlier publications. And the acceptance rate for this, the students that started this autumn was 18%. So 50 out of 275 applicants were accepted. And a good idea is, of course, to apply for several programs, and you can rank them according to your preferences. But that should, of course, then lead to that you put electric power engineering as number 1, and then you can have a few backups as 2, 3, and 4. All right, I'm going to leave the floor to you, Dhruvi.
Thank you, Mikael. So hello again, everyone. I would first like to introduce how my journey of being a student at KTH was till now. So while I was at your place, when I was actually applying for KTH, during that time, I had a lot of things in my mind that why I want to apply for KTH. So the reasons behind this application was that I was very much impressed by the extensive curriculum and the peer network what institute offers. Also, I had searched a lot about the degree projects which are done by the former students in various domains, because that is what actually KTH is well known for. And KTH being the most highly ranked university in Sweden as well as in the world, it had a strong position for me to choose as one of the university for my further studies. Later, when I applied and when I got KTH as my university, during that time, being an international student, I had to come to the entire new country, and I had to experience a whole new culture from personal life as well as my professional life and my studies perspective. Difficult for me when I will do this transit, but honestly speaking, it was not that difficult. And just to KTH itself, this is because the KTH provides all kind of support from when you are doing your application till the end, when you're doing your studies, when you're finishing the studies. So while I was doing my application, during that time there were a lot of seminars which were organized. There were many platforms which were open for me on social media, where I could talk to fellow students, seniors, professors, and it was very useful for me to decide, okay, like in which kind of program I'm interested in it, and is KTH my right choice, or is this program my right choice? And I must say that during my application and after my application and during my studies, KTH has not let me down, and it has always excelled in my expectations. In August, it was quite difficult because it was the COVID situation, but KTH has ensured that all the students were coming to international students who are coming to a new place should not land in any problematic situation, and they should be able to reach to their destination or to figure out different things being in a new country. So that was very well helpful because of KTH and the THS, which is the student union organization, which is working with KTH. They had also organized a lot of activities for all the students, so that we can meet each other who are coming from different countries. And because of that, I can say that my social network increased a lot, and I made a lot of friends, and it was very easy for me to then make a whole new transit to a new country. Talking about the education at KTH, starting from first year till now, so I can say that, as I said before, that I was previously working in an organization for a few years, so I had actually lost the touch with my studies. But when I joined KTH, I was a bit fearful because of studies coming on a new level for me, and I will be restarting the studies. But honestly speaking, all the professors at KTH had supported me a lot to regain that technicality what I needed, and also they guided me very well to choose the path what I am interested in it. And right now I'm really happy with what I have chosen and how my career has been had been so far here at KTH. Additionally, there were many skills which were developed during the education at KTH, because all these subjects which are taught at KTH has been designed differently, and based on the previous feedback of the previous students, and also how the professor sees the program. Also, the courses are taught in collaboration with various companies in or the industry, so that the students are not left apart from the industry. And in all this scenario, there are a lot of project work which are given, or the assignment work which are given to the students, which enhances a lot of skills in students, like leadership, communication skills, with the technical and research skills, I can say. Uh, Additionally, I can say for this program, which is a plus point for this program, is the flexibility what it is offering to choose any domain what you want. And this has actually led to for me to choose as a two different path as my domain, which I think wouldn't have been possible if I would have chosen the same program at any other university. And this is what I really like about KTH and this program. And if I talk about my personal life at KTH, so I can say that for the accommodation or the living, since I am an international student, I thought it would be very difficult for me to find accommodation and get adjusted to a new place. But KTH also offered me accommodation as a student accommodation, and it's a very big accommodation which is known as Lapis, where I live. And I live in corridor rooms, and I have many friends here from different countries and from different programs as well. So it has been like a very good experience till now, from my personal life perspective also, because I have like gained a lot of things as enhancement of my social skills. Here you can see one of the at KTH, which is we all live at Lapis, and this all are actually my the friends of my program itself. And yeah, during my tenure I had also tried to find time to look at the places at Stockholm, because Stockholm is one of the most beautiful cities I can say in the world, because I have seen the other cities in Europe as well, but I feel nothing gets compared to Stockholm, because the colors of Stockholm in every season is very different and very beautiful. So yeah, here you can see how the KTH main campus, which is actually the scene when it is in the autumn, when the studies start. The below picture shows, the middle picture shows the library of KTH, which is like one of the place where I often go to study. It is a very nice place, and nice place, as well as if you want to study alone. And I think it is very, very motivating to go there and study, because you see other fellow students studying there, or the people are doing some the activities related to studies. So, and it's very nice place, having a good ambience as well. So you don't feel like very like I would say that I don't stay at my home, but I stay more at library because of the ambience what it provides to me. Also, it has many lab computer rooms, which helps me to do many softwares which I don't like to do in my in my laptop. During my during my tenure here at Stockholm, I also learned a new sport which is called as ice hockey, because I come from India and we don't have this sport. So and it was very good to learn something new and enhance your sports skills as well. And this is one of the good thing about Stockholm as well, that you can go for ice skating during winters at any place whichever it is offered here, but it's free of cost, you don't have to pay anywhere. So that is also one of the benefits staying here. And yeah, like in Sweden we have the student discount scheme as well, so you can go to various places on student discount, so it's quite economic, I can say. And yeah, we can go to next slide then. Uh, yeah, as I said, there are different colors of Stockholm. So you can see how the Stockholm looks in summer, which is actually very good. You can do many activities like kayaking or swimming or many other things. And in spring, you can see special cherry blossom trees, which are pink in color. So it's very beautiful. People go there and click a lot of photos. And in winter, when it's snowing, it is looking very different. There are also a lot of museums here in Stockholm where you can go and explore the ancient things of the different things. So I think this is one of the well-known museum, which is Vasa Museum of the which has the ship, ancient ship. On the left topmost shows the Kth Scholarship reception. So during my studies here, I was awarded Kth Scholarship. So this was one of the activity or one of the reception which was held by Kth for all the scholarship holder students. And yes, so these are the group of us. We were invited, and there was a good session, interaction session with all the professors and the fellow scholarship holders. So I can say that overall my tenure till now here at KTH has been very fruitful and more than expected. And I now leave this whole platform and platform to you guys who will be applying to KTH to explore more about Stockholm and KTH. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dhruvi.
Yes, thank you, Dhruvi, and thank you, Mikael, for giving us this insight into your program, Electric Power Engineering. So we have a few questions, and I thought that I will ask them for you. Dhruvi, I have a question for you, and especially when you were asking about being in this group of scholarships. Which are the scholarships offered by KTH, and what is the criteria to receive them?
So actually KTH offers mainly 4 scholarships. So there is 1-year scholarship, 2-year scholarships, or the India scholarship and joint program scholarship. So based on the type of scholarship, you get waiving of the fees for 1 year, or the main criteria to get the scholarship is basically first results and having good career. You get this scholarship. The other criteria is like when you can apply for the scholarship. Like for KTH 2-year scholarship, you need to apply when you are applying right now for the master's program. Or KTH 1-year scholarship, you can apply when you're studying at KTH and you get the waiving of fee of the 2nd year. So this all criteria are already described in the web link which is provided. But yeah, so these are, I can say, these are the main scholarship which are offered by KTH, and which I
Thank you.
think all the international students should apply for.
Thank you. Another question that you receive quite often is, how much is the work experience helpful for doing your master's in your program?
So I think as far as I have studied all the subjects here, I think that work experience is always good to have, but it is not a mandatory thing to have, because the programs are designed for the students who also don't have the work experience. And actually these programs are such that you gain the skills similar to what you have work experience in. So I think that it is not actually mandatory for any student to have work experience to apply for this program. But if you have work experience, then it is always good, because that is an additional skills what you are having.
And I wonder if one of you can answer this one other question, which is, which are the software skills recommended to do masters in your program?
I can say, as far as the studies I have done, I think the main software skills which are used in the studies are, first is the MATLAB, because I think it is one of the mandatory programming skill what everyone should have. And secondly, say, is Python, but Python is not used in every courses, but MATLAB is used in every course, I can say, and it's good to have. But I think Mikael can add if I am missing anything else.
Thank you.
Some courses may use specific software, which could be based, for example, on MATLAB Simulink. But in general, I think that at least I myself, but I think my colleagues are also happy with students can use whatever software you're acquainted with to solve a problem. We are interested in that you can solve problems, not necessarily that you will be using some specific software. And we try, of course, to make sure that if you need to use some specific software, then we also give instructions for that. And you can take, I mean, Dhruvi is right, we use a lot of MATLAB. So if you're not acquainted with MATLAB, you can find some introduction course to MATLAB.
Thank you so much, Mikael. Our master coordinators have also received a few questions, and one of them is the following: how easy is it to get a job for international students after the masters in electrical power engineering at KTH in Sweden? That's one question. Yeah.
Well, I mean, there are a lot of rules about residence permits and such things that I'm not completely up to date with. But I mean, if you have a master degree from KTH, you're in a very good position to get an employment in Sweden. And a lot of our students are doing their master thesis in a company, and they start working in that company later or in some other company. But I would say that it's very good job opportunities for our students.
And another question as well, is it possible to have an assistantship at the university, or to get a permit for a partial weekends job to help covering living expenses? I believe this is questions for the both of you.
I can answer about assistantships. It's common. We are mostly having our own staff assisting. There are a few opportunities. Sometimes be opportunities to help out in a research project that we need somebody to do. We can hire students for doing that. But it's not something that we do very commonly. And Dhruvi, you maybe know students who get.
There are many part-time jobs which are available for students who really want to do the jobs. But from my personal experience, I would recommend the students to first concentrate on studies, because when you are doing part-time job, you are actually compromising sometimes on your studies, which I can say is quite rigorous when you are doing it fully concentratedly rather than doing part-time jobs, because that will actually change your focus sometimes. And if you are actually very good at studies, and if you really want to do something good ahead, then if you get good grades, then you may also apply for these scholarships which are already available at KTH, which can actually help you in reducing your financial expenses during your studies. So that would be more beneficial compared to doing your part-time jobs. But of course, there are many part-time jobs which are available, which can help you to reduce your living expenses here.
And also, I guess that, like you said, you have experienced a lot staying in Sweden and getting new friends and doing that part of besides studying, which is also very, very beneficial for you as a student. But one other thing that I was wondering, and many students wonder, do you need to learn Swedish? Is one of the questions.
I can say till now, I have never faced the issue of language while I am here at KTH or even in Stockholm, because most of all the people here who are Swedish, they know English, and so they never make you feel like you are coming from somewhere, you are having some different language. So they always directly switch to English, and I have never faced the communication as an issue here. And secondly, I can say in studies as well, there is never such thing, because my studies are completely in English. So I have never faced this issue of learning Swedish. I really tried to learn Swedish during my studies, but I really want to focus more on my studies first. So I did learn some of the Swedish, but then I have left some of them on the later stage of my career.
That sounds like a good idea. But another question, do you choose your thesis projects by yourself, or is it someone else who chooses it for you? It's one of the questions that we have.
For KTH thesis, I can say there are many thesis options which are available on the portals of KTH itself. So where you can actually choose as per your interest. Also, while you are doing your courses, you have many interactions with the professors who have very good projects, research projects with them. So who can offer you as a part of the thesis during your thesis period. So I think so it is not, no one chooses thesis for you.
Okay.
So the student themselves based on their interest, but there are many opportunities, I can say, which KTH offers.
We also have a question about PhD studies after your master's, and a question is, how easy is it to continue with PhD studies in electric power systems at KTH?
We have a rather large need for PhD students. This is an area where a lot of research is being done. And I mean, we have announcements for PhD students in electric power engineering. More than 10 students are recruited per year. And all these vacancies are on the KTH vacancy web page. And we usually get a lot of applicants for each open position. So it's a rather tough competition about these positions. But of course, if you are a KTH master student and applying, and we have seen you in our courses and we know your capacity, that is an advantage for you.
Thank you so much, Mikael and Dhruvi. And now we're getting to the end of this webinar. And do you have any last words for our visitors here, or participants? Mikael, any last words?
Well, I hope that you will be applying and that I will see you next autumn semester.
Dhruvi?
I can say best wishes for everyone to apply for KTH for this program. And if you have any queries, further queries, you can always look at the course curriculum, what is there. And you can also ask me because I'm the student ambassador for this program for any questions further. So best of luck for your future.
And in behalf of KTH, I want to say thank you so much for joining us today and also for all of your questions. And we will also upload this webinar by this week. So thank you so much. Goodbye.